The Supreme Court of the United States decided to uphold the TikTok ban, and I would really like to say that it's very shocking to see a first world country doing this. I mean, what happened to free speech? This is a very important development in the attention economy, because in this day and age, the attention economy is majorly fueled by social media platforms. And some of the people that are hugely benefiters of this attention economy is creators. And this TikTok ban definitely comes with a couple of lessons that we are going to be looking at in this video. Welcome to Monetize Attention. My name is jepkendagor, and on this channel I like discovering brands, their marketing strategies, and spotlighting the attention economy. One of the key lessons that I think a lot of creators need to learn from this TikTok ban is the fact that you need to start caring about politics. There's so many creators and influencers who are like, politics is not for me, and of course there's so many other people that think that creators and influencers should not get involved in politics. But clearly we can see that even if you don't care about politics cares about you. Even if you think it doesn't affect you, politics is always ready to take away your source of income. One of the points that TikTok has been using to prevent this ban in the United States is the fact that it has provided a lot of jobs, it has contributed billions of dollars to the American economy, and this wasn't enough to convince the Congress people that TikTok has actually done more good for Americans, because you know what, these politicians do not care about you. That's why it's really important for everyone really to be involved with politics, because politics will always affect you. People in politics will always make decisions that favor them, even if those decisions are detrimental to your own life, because they just don't care. And so everyone really should care, but more so creators and influencers, because they are building platforms. It's really important to ensure that you're engaged in the issues that are constantly affecting you and also the people that follow you. This idea that only few people are qualified to speak about politics is very wrong, because at the end of the day, the choices that are made by these people in politics affect everyone. Using your voice, being engaged in politics, is a way of actually protecting yourself. The second most important lesson is, of course, as a creator or an influencer, you need to diversify your platforms. And it's not just about diversification, it's also about putting in mind which platforms are more beneficial to you based on the politics of where you come from. Another side to politics that you should consider is geopolitics, understanding geopolitics, because whether you like it or not, it's going to affect you. And so you really need to look at the different social media platforms, prioritize the platforms that are aligning with the politics in your country. Of course, this could change, especially because after every 5 years, like in my country, new people are always getting into government, and this means that the interest of the politics in your country might change every 5 years with the social media platforms. Obviously, this is a downside to today's human civilization, where people just put their own interests over the interests of the majority of people. But that's a reality that you have to navigate, whether you like it or not. I mean, it's something that could affect you. If you invest so much in a platform that maybe after 5 years another president comes in and suddenly they don't like that social media platform, they might decide to ban it. What are you gonna do? So I really think the strategy here is look at where you are now, look at the next 5 years. These social media platforms are always changing rapidly, because things are also changing rapidly. Look at the platforms that are aligning with the politics in your country and invest in those platforms, build your audiences, and then also think about how you can own your own audience, maybe having a newsletter, maybe going back to having a blog that is more sustainable, because these are things that cannot be easily taken away from you. That is going to be a great way of curbing this anxiety that you might get because a platform that you've invested a lot of energy into is actually getting banned. Something that I've been saying that is very worrisome actually is a lot of people being happy that TikTok is getting banned because influencers will not have a job anymore, they have to go get a 9 to 5. Just find that to be absolutely astonishing. Like, you're happy because the people who have been providing you with content for entertainment, for information, for education are going to lose a platform. It really doesn't make sense, because if you don't like influencers and creators, why are you consuming their content? Obviously there's some people who are celebrating and saying, oh, we told you that these are not permanent platforms. It's the same way that a company could go out of business and everyone is laid off. It's the same way that people could get retrenched from their jobs. Absolutely astonishing. But anyway, let's move on to the other lesson. The third lesson lesson that we can learn from this TikTok ban is the fact that this is actually a threat to globalization. It is a fact that a lot of countries all over the world are always watching what the United States is doing. And over the next years, it's actually not going to be shocking to see that more countries are banning social media platforms. I mean, in Kenya, there are already signs of that. And now that the United States has been able to ban TikTok, it's just like giving permission to many other countries to ban these social media platforms in the name of national security when they're really curtailing free speech. When things like this happen, it means that the opportunities for cultural exchange are reduced, and this doesn't work to the benefit of majority of populations, because these platforms are always helping people to learn more about different cultures, to travel through their phones, because a lot of people nowadays cannot really afford to travel to different countries. And if you're from an African country, you know, it's mostly expensive because of the visa fees that you have to pay. It's so stressful, so it's really easy for people to connect with people in different countries and see how they are living, and that really helps them with exposure when they can't be there physically. Even as a creator, a lot of audiences are going to be very resistant to watching your content if you're from a different place, because they might like your content, they might create this parasocial bond with you, and then all of a sudden a social media platform is banned in your country or is banned in their country and they can't connect with you anymore. It's going to be highly detrimental for a lot of creators who are sort of marginalized in their own countries, but they find a lot of success internationally because the way they think or the way they express themselves is appreciated by people who are in different countries. Because, you know, obviously you could be coming from a country that is very much conservative, they don't appreciate how you think, but people from other different parts of the world might appreciate that. That is going to be very detrimental for such creators, because it means that you're losing a huge part of an audience that gets you. Think about creators who are living in Europe, who are living in African countries, who have been creating on TikTok, but majority of their audiences are from America. That is going to have a huge impact on their engagement, on their viewership, and less engagement and less viewership means that if you were getting brand sponsorships, well, that will start going down, because they're like, well, really don't have the numbers. I think it's going to be interesting to see whether this TikTok ban is going to be reversed, whether the owners of TikTok are going to be forced to sell to American owners. This happens, TikTok as we know it is just not going to be the same. This issue has really made me think about digital colonialism, the fact that we are very much dependent on American owned platforms. I'm publishing this on YouTube, an American owned platform. It really makes me wonder, because it looks like we are all just living in America as well. And this is really making me think about going analog in many aspects of my life. Of course, I'm still going to be on YouTube, a little bit on Instagram, LinkedIn. These are all American owned platforms. I really think that if you're not a creator or an influencer, maybe just going back to the analog way of living is the best option. Because anyway, even being on social media platforms nowadays or being on the internet, you have to pay for everything. You have to pay for subscriptions. If you don't own anything, this is something I should also explore in a different video. So I really think that this TikTok ban, it brings up a lot of issues, and you should probably just sit down and ask yourself what it means for you as a user, as a creator. Even if you are not creating on TikTok, just think about, if the platform that you're creating on disappears today, what are you gonna do? It's the same way that you could lose a job. You should be thinking about those things.